So this is one of the best pieces of photography kit that I've ever owned, and I'm excited to tell you guys about it in today's video. So this is the Profoto A10, and I want to talk about this incredible piece of kit in today's video. It's not often you come across a photography accessory that actually changes the game and really helps you level up as a creative, and I honestly believe that this strobe has been able to do that for me. I've been using a Profoto A10 on and off for, I would say, the last year, maybe year and a half for various different projects. I picked up my own after renting a few different times, probably about 8 months ago, and I've been using this flash very regularly on portrait shoots and restaurant shoots alike. I wanted to explain why this flash is so powerful, all of its different features, and more importantly, share some images of what I'm able to do with this tiny, compact, yet very powerful strobe. So somehow, if you guys are not aware of Profoto or who they are, they make some of the best strobe and flash equipment on the market. Most of their equipment is pretty pricey, but I do find it to be worth it, mainly because of how robust it is and powerful, especially when we're talking about the Profoto A10, which is an on-camera strobe. A lot of what Profoto sells are high-powered strobes, so these can be used on location, wirelessly. They can also be plugged in a studio environment. But needless to say, I've been using Profoto equipment for a number of different years now for various projects, and when it comes to strobes, they're the brand that I trust the most. Now, this video is not sponsored by Profoto in any way. I honestly just love this piece of equipment, and I've been dying to make a video and explain why I love it so much. So the Profoto A10 is quite the feature-packed device when it comes to photography. Not only is this an on-camera strobe, which is extremely powerful for being battery operated, you can also use this as a remote for triggering other strobes in tandem with this. You can also daisy chain these and use one wirelessly and use one on your camera as a remote. The opportunities are pretty endless with the A10, and I've found myself using it time and time again for larger shoots and smaller shoots alike. The best thing about this is how small it is. You know, the footprint is really kind of desirable for someone like myself who likes to shoot on location a lot, but I don't like to bring a massive amount of lights and equipment with me, having to set up and tear down in between shots. It's very cumbersome. I think that's why this works so well for me. I'm able to put this on my X-T5 and also my GFX, and this works seamlessly. I've never had an issue, but I'm able to throw this with a camera and a lens in my shoulder bag and just bring it along on a small editorial shoot. I can also toss it in my Pelican and use it for a larger commercial project. And the photos that I've been able to get really could not have been done without this piece of kit. So you're probably wondering the use cases of the A10 and why it's so nice for someone like myself. Well, there's a couple different reasons I think this flash is so great. So you can use this strobe just as a standard strobe. You know, you can bounce it off of walls, you can bounce it off of ceilings. It has sort of an articulating top portion, so you can move it pretty much any direction you would like. And that really helps when it comes to a small crammed space, such as a restaurant. Now I've been getting into shooting restaurants quite a bit recently, and the last few restaurants I've shot, I've really relied heavily on the A10 for crammed and tight spaces, making the light just nice and even, and also kind of bumping up the power on the A10 as well and using it just as a traditional flash. The versatility of the A10 is really unmatched, and you're able to get multiple different kinds of lighting setups in such a small, complete package. Profoto also did not stop there when it comes to accessories. They have these click mounts where you can take this off. Right now I have a diffusion dome, but there's all sorts of different kinds of accessories and gels and different colors that you can put on the end of these, and you're able to get all different kinds of lighting setups from just something that fits in the hot shoe of your camera. I did a really cool shoot earlier this year in Alabama Hills up in the Eastern Sierra, where I shot some beautiful trail running photos with a friend of mine, and we used this strobe pretty consistently throughout the entire day. I put an orange gel on the front of it because I loved the way that it looked with the mountains in the background, and I just let it rip. I found that using this outside works really well, in addition to using it indoors, obviously. It kind of gives a cool editorial flair and a different look than something that I'm used to getting with, obviously shooting without a strobe. Those photos up in the mountains turned out to be some of my favorites I shot all year. And out of the entire set, I would say probably 70% of those photos were shot using this strobe, which says a lot because they're one of my favorite sets I've shot recently. The battery life is amazing. You can get up to 450 shots on a single charge. I would typically bring a couple of different batteries just so you have some redundancy, especially if you're on a job. but the battery lasts really well, as do most other Profoto products. Also, something you're getting when you pay for a premium product like this is the fast recycle time. The recycle time on this is only 1 second. So you're able to get really fast-paced motion while using a strobe. It's just amazing for everything from slow projects where you're trying to light a specific scene to shooting action in sort of a fast-paced environment outside. This flash can really do it all. Now, when it comes to the actual setup of the A10, I typically will use it in TTL mode, which stands for through the lens. So it'll talk to your camera and figure out the best possible settings based on the ones you have currently on your camera. I find this to work pretty well, unless I'm going for a really hard light, which in case I will change it to manual mode and bump up the power myself. On the flip side, I can also bring the power down and adjust it manually. I do this as well from time to time, but I find that the TTL mode works extremely well. Now, as I mentioned, I've used this flash for a number of different portrait shoots, restaurant shoots. I've used it indoors, outdoors. It's come along with me on more jobs than not, and it's really nice knowing that at the end of the day, if I need a quick boost of light or if I want to fill in some shadows, this flash really does an incredible job of allowing me to get the images that I want inside my head. Now, Profoto has models for your specific camera brand, so if you're shooting on Nikon or Canon, I would suggest picking up that specific version of the A10. I obviously have the Fujifilm version, and I bought this used on eBay, which I found to be a lot cheaper than buying one brand new. If you can find a good deal on one, or if you just simply want to pick one up, I can't recommend this piece of kit enough. It really has been a game changer for me in the images that I've been able to capture, and I'm super stoked to continue using this in my camera kit. Now, with all that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see some more images with the Profoto A10, I will link those down below. Speaking of which, before this video wraps up, I did want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, for sponsoring today's episode. Now, you guys know by now, Squarespace is a longtime supporter of this YouTube channel, and I can't thank them enough for their continued support. Simply put, Squarespace is just the easiest way to create any sort of creative website, whether you're looking to display your work, create gallery pages, maybe have a landing page for clients to be able to see your work. You can also sell e-commerce products and book appointments. Squarespace makes this extremely easy to lay out in a website that works well for you. If you guys would like to check out Squarespace for yourself, there'll be a link down in the description to receive 10% off your first website or domain purchase. Thanks so much to Squarespace as always for sponsoring this video. Thanks you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.